Hello, everyone. Welcome to Growth Room Podcast, a space for honest conversations around growth, career, purpose, and becoming a better version of ourselves. Welcome to our special series. What if I have 5 minutes? Where we ask one powerful question. If you had just 5 minutes to share a message that could change someone's life or the world, what would you say? So, and joining me today is Jackie Pelegrin. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Yeah, an award instructional college professor, author, consultant, podcast host who helps educators and professionals create engaging, impactful, and human-centered learning experiences. So, Jackie, welcome to Growth Podcast.
Thank you so much, Favor. I appreciate you having me on your show. It's always a pleasure.
You're welcome. So now, if you truly had this to share a message that could change someone's life, what would you say?
Yes, I would probably say I would say be graceful to yourself. I think in today's society we're harder on ourselves than we need to be, and especially when there's the comparison trap that people can get into, and I've done it myself. And so I think we need to be a little bit more graceful to ourselves and give ourselves more credit than what we do give ourselves, and try not to beat ourselves up, right? So I would say, yeah, be gracious, not only to ourselves but to each other too. I think our society today is very critical of each other, not just of ourselves but each other. So yeah, so I think we need to show a little grace. I do that with my students as much as I can, and with my colleagues, and know that we're all human. Nobody's perfect with anything that they do. So so I think it's good to do that. And then you can probably, when you do that, you're bound to actually do better work, because you know that there's no such thing as perfection, right? We don't live in a perfect world. So yeah, I think that's always a good mantra I like to live by.
Wow, wow. So what then inspired I was what inspired your message?
Okay, so I think the question was about what inspired my message.
Yeah.
Yeah, about giving grace to ourselves. Yeah, I would say, I've had managers that I've worked with in the past, and even currently, that have brought that about. And so, and even I think in school, my mom was she's actually in the same room, so she'll hear me talk about her. But when I would get overwhelmed with school work or something like that, she would say, just take one subject at a time, and be gracious to yourself. And then when I went into the workforce and I started working, it was easy to get overwhelmed and start to kind of put myself down a little bit and say, oh no, I don't think I can do this, and doubt myself. And so I had other mentors that would help me through that. And so as the years went by, I realized, yeah, that's a good idea to be gracious to myself, and then give grace to others. So I think it was just different mentors and different people in my life that allowed me to be able to practice that, and to realize how important it is in our daily lives, not just in work, but in everything we do, whether we're in school, going back to school, right? And so I think it shows true collaboration, and it shows that we're all working together towards a common goal, whether that's helping others, or that's making the world a better place. So whatever your goal is, I think it helps when we can work together and give each other that grace.
Wow. Thanks so much for sharing, and thanks so much for wanting to impact the world if you ever got a chance. Now, a lot of people struggle with feeling not creative enough. Do you believe creativity is something people are born with or something they can develop?
Oh, yeah. So I think it could be a combination of both. I think it can be where you have inherent skills and abilities that give you that creativity. And so, but then I also think sometimes, some of those are something that you can learn over time as well. So I think it's a combination of that. So I think you start with certain inherent capabilities and skills that lend themselves to be creative, and then I think over that time period, you learn from others, and you're able to pick up on different things. So and then I think you can strengthen those skills that lend themselves to creativity. So yeah, so I think I could think it would be a little bit of both, where you can have those inherent abilities, and then also pick up on it a little bit as well as you go through life, and you learn different skills and different jobs and through school and things like that, and you're able to strengthen those. And yeah, it's really nice when you can actually do that and you can utilize your skills and your talents in those creative ways as well.
Wow. So, over the years, what's one lesson teaching and designing has taught you about people? What's one lesson teaching and designing learning experience has taught you about people?
Oh, yes, that's good. So it's interesting because I've been working in education for almost 20 years in higher education. And then I've been an instructional designer working in both higher education, and I've done some corporate training as well. So I didn't start teaching until about 5 years ago. And what I realized through that process of starting to teach is that I found that it was something I was good at, and I didn't realize that I had that skill and that talent to be able to teach others in higher education. So once I started doing that, it allowed me to be able to be a better instructional designer. And then also, as I was learning different skills and different abilities in my job, I was able to take that back to the classroom and then share it with my students and give them real life examples that I could share. So it's become a win-win situation. So it's helped me the teaching has helped me in my job day to day, but then also my job has also helped me become a better educator and a better instructor. So it's really great because with teaching, what's really wonderful about it, and I don't think some people realize it until they start teaching, is that it's never a one-way street. So it shouldn't just be the instructor teaching the students, but I think the instructor should also learn from the students as well. So I think it should be, instead of just a one-way street where it's just lecture style or anything like that, that there should be some back and forth between the students and the instructor, so that way the instructor can also learn as well, because I've learned just as much from my students about what they're experiencing day to day in the field and how it can help them in their future career, because most of them are career changers. So it's really helpful to have that. And then I take that back to my job, and I'm like, okay, well, this is what's going on in the field, and this is how I can utilize this to be able to make it better for what I'm doing day to day. So I think that's one of the key things that I've learned as an educator and working in the field, is being able to take those experiences and not only share them with my students, but then take what they give me and share it with my colleagues as well. So it's been a wonderful experience. So I would encourage anybody who wants to go into education and teach, or who does teach, is to take a step back. If you feel like you're teaching but you're not really learning from your students as well, because it should be a little bit of that too, I think. So yeah.
Wow, wow. Thank you for sharing your perspective about teaching. So,
Yes.
in summary of what you said is that in as much as you want to teach, you should also be open to learning from those who you are teaching, right? Now,
Right.
okay. So now I also want to ask, in what ways have you kind of shared this message that you just shared with me right now about changing the world? Like, during the course of teaching, what ways have you tried put that into practice? And then go with that.
Right. Yeah. So I would say probably one of the things we can do to help make a positive impact on the world as educators is we can make sure that we're always open to new ideas, that we're always willing to learn new things as educators. That it's okay if we don't know everything, and I think that helps us to show our students that we're human beings. We're not superhuman, right? That we do have that capability to still learn and to grow. And then I also think it's important, especially with the rise of artificial intelligence and models and tools and everything, we want to still remain relevant as teachers. And so I think it's so important to stay up to date on the different tools and the technologies, and not to be afraid to use them. Because I think one thing that can set us back as educators, and it also doesn't help our students, when we're afraid to use those tools, or when we are intimidated by them and we decide, well, I don't know enough about it, so I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to ignore it. But in reality, it's already here and it's not going anywhere. So I think it's when it comes to technology and education, I think it's always good to keep up to date with those as much as you can. It's not that you have to know all the tools, but just pick a few that are really beneficial that you think your students would benefit from and that you would benefit from as an educator, and then get to know the tools little by little. And I think it won't feel as intimidating after a while. So I think that's really helpful to be able to do that. And then you're showing your students that you're also being innovative and creative, and yeah, and I think that really helps them to see that you're doing that as well. So modeling is very important in education today. So yeah.
Wow, well, thank you so much for that. Now, many educators and professionals feel overwhelmed and burnt out. So, how can people continue creating impactful work without losing themselves in the process?
This is a great question. When you sent this to me, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a good one." So
Mm.
I think one thing we can do is not lose the human connection to what we do, because it can be so easy to be behind a computer screen, right? And want to just, send that quick email or go to an AI tool and say, "Hey, can you draft this for me?" Or now go to a video tool and have it create a short, quick video for you, or do anything else that AI can do, or this latest technology can do. So I would say try to make sure that you're still in the process as a human as well. And so I look at any type of technology as a way to be able to create something, but I still have that final say in what it gives me. And I always make changes to it. So I would say just make sure you keep yourself in the process, and don't lose yourself through all of that technology, because it can be easy to get lost in it. And so yeah, so I would say just do that and make sure that you're collaborating with other professionals too, and you're not siloing yourself or staying in isolation, because it can be easy to do that with the technology that's out there today. So, so yeah, I would say just kind of, yeah, be open to all of that, but yet still keep your human in the loop, as I like to call it, and make sure that you have different eyes on things, and people looking at it as well.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So,
Sure.
okay, now if someone listening feels stuck, uninspired, most especially uninspired, or afraid to start something new, what would you want them to remember?
Yes, that's a great question. I would say start small and do something, maybe instead of thinking of a whole entire project or a big goal in mind, just maybe break it up into smaller little goals that you can accomplish day by day or week by week, however, the project, or the initiative that you want to start. I would say start small, and then with each goal or each part that you accomplish, celebrate that and make sure that you are able to give yourself credit for the work you've done. So and then by the time you reach those, and that'll keep you motivated along the way too, because it's hard to stay motivated when you try to do a huge type of initiative or start something new, and you kind of take it all at once. It's hard. So I would say just, to keep yourself motivated, just do little tiny steps at a time, and then you'll find that at the end you'll reach that goal or do that new project, and you'll be able to reach that. So that's something I try to practice as well as often as I can. Sometimes it's hard because if you've got a lot going on, it can be difficult, and then you're trying to start something new when you already got 10 things on your plate, right? And you're trying to do it. So but yeah, just start small, and then just keep uh, checking in with, and maybe even have an accountability partner, someone that can hold you accountable to that in a healthy way as well. So that might be helpful as you're doing something, because then that way you can have someone else kind of have your back in a way as well.
Oh, wow, wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now looking back at your own journey, What are you most grateful for right now?
Yes, I would say all the team members that I've been able to work with over the years. I look back on different jobs that I've had over time, and I've had some setbacks along the way in my career, but those setbacks ended up being a setup for something greater. So, for example, I was working as a contractor at a place called PetSmart in the United States, and it's basically for pet owners to be able to take their dogs in. They have pet shops, and they have also grooming and things like that. And so I was really looking forward to working for this company, but I interviewed twice and I couldn't get past the second interview. So then I found a company that did kind of placement for contract work, and so I was able to get a contract job with this company, and I thought, oh, this is great, wonderful. And then it ended after 6 months, and I was so disappointed at first, but then I found the job where I work now, and I've been there 12 years. So if that door hadn't closed for me and I hadn't had this other opportunity come about, then I wouldn't have started teaching. I wouldn't have started my podcast. I wouldn't be doing consulting. So at the time it felt like, my goodness, this is a door that's closing, and I was so just distraught and disappointed, and I thought, oh no, what am I going to do? But at the end of it was actually a setup for something better. So for those that are faith believers and have that faith, I knew it was something that was beyond my my understanding, and I was like, okay, this is a point where I need to make a choice. Am I going to stay in the past, or am I going to pivot and go towards, what's in front of me? What is this opportunity? So I did the latter, and I pivoted, and I was able to do what I do now. So without that setback that happened, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I would say to those that feel like they're going through that and they feel like there's a setback, just kind of take a step back and just know that it's not always a setback. Sometimes you don't see it at the time, but it could be opening an opportunity for something even better for you down the road. So just stay the course and it'll all work out.
Well, thank you so much. Okay, now you have a book coming up, right?
Yes, I was hoping it would be out by the summer, but I ran into some other things that kind of took me away from it. So it hasn't been published quite yet, but I'm hoping by the end of the year, early next year. I was just trying to figure out whether I wanted to self-publish or whether I wanted to go with a publishing house. But after talking with some other colleagues that I know and other individuals that are published authors, I think I'm going to go the route of self-publishing for my first one. And so that'll be exciting. But one good thing is that I'm going to be co-authoring some devotionals and other types of books with someone that I co-host 7 podcasts with. So he and I have been doing this for a few months, and so we're actually going to make some books together. So I've had to kind of pivot a little bit, but it's still there, and I'll be hopefully publishing it by the end of the year or early next year. So either one.
All right. Thank you so much. I wanted to ask about what impact would you think your book will leave people who are going to read it?
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a great way to be able to take all the models and the theories that we learn about in instructional design and put those into practice. Each chapter of the book has a specific model or theory in it. So chapters 2 through 18 have a specific model or theory that readers can learn about. So if they're looking to go into this field, or they're new to it as a novice instructional designer, they can be able to pick that up. And it can also be helpful for educators as well. So I'm definitely not trying to compete with other books out there that are instructional design or educator type of books, but more just trying to provide a different avenue for learning these models and theories. And at the end, I provide how to take those theories and models and put them into practice. So it's a nice practical type of handbook that someone can pick up, and they don't have to read it from beginning to end, but they can pick it up wherever they need it and whatever they're doing at the time for, say, a certain project, and they want to learn more about the ADDIE model or something like that and how that can work in practice. So it's meant to be something that they can have with them on hand and just utilize as they're learning more about the field and how to utilize the models and theories that we use most often in the field.
Okay, thank you. And before we go, I want to ask, what does growth personally mean to you in this phase of your life?
That's a good question. Yes, I would say just be ready to learn and grow as you're going through the field and you're learning more about the profession, and just always be willing to take on new challenges. I think it helps you grow as a professional in the field. I've been doing this for 15 years now, and I still learn things as I go. So it's exciting to be able to do that and just continue to realize that sometimes you need to pivot and sometimes you need to change course, and that's okay, because I think that helps keep you fresh in the field, and I think it because you just never know where it'll take you. So it's exciting at the same time. I know it can be hard for some people to make that change and to try to pivot, but I think it helps to show that you're adaptive and you're able to make those adjustments when you can. And so employers like that. They like someone who's adaptive and who's able to pivot when things change, and not so set in certain ways, but able to make those adjustments when they need to. So yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me on Good From Podcast. I think that will be all for today's conversation. But trust me, I love the fact that you're very open and your story is so inspiring. When you said, what hit me most is when you said we should give ourselves grace. Yeah,
Yes. That's so important. I think we forget that sometimes, and I
yeah,
know I forget sometimes. So it's a good reminder, I think, for all of us.
yeah. That really, really, really struck me. Like I was like, okay, yeah, I really need to give myself grace.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Even in this world of podcasting, right? We know that things are going to happen, and so we just have to, yeah, give ourselves grace no matter what we're doing. And even with podcasting, it's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. Mistakes happen or things don't go
Yeah,
as planned, but I think people see the authenticity in that and they know, okay, that's a human being, not a computer on the other side of it. So
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
yes.
Thank you so much. And to everyone listening, if this episode inspired you, make sure you share it with someone who needs it. Follow Good Room Podcast and leave a review on Spotify or Apple. And also, Jackie, do you have something else you want to share with my audience?
Oh, sure. So, for those that don't know, I do have my own educational podcast, and it started as a passion for my students. When I started teaching, I created it for them, but it's since grown quite a bit. It's called Designing with Love. So anyone's welcome to check it out, and it's audio only, so that you can listen to it on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So if you're on the go, it's really great for that. It combines solo episodes that I do that are about 15 minutes. I release those on Wednesdays, and then on Sundays I release my interview episodes that I do with guests. And so yeah, so it's an interesting type of podcast. So yeah, so feel free to check it out, and support the work if you'd like as well.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I think that will be all. See you some other time.